welcome to my podcast. My name is ☆📒𓏸. Today is Thursday, February the 2nd, 2023. Just want to say good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to you wherever you're located and whatever time it is. So I wanted to kind of give an update on my life and on some of the new things that have happened this week. Starting with it being a brand new month, we're in February. We have made it past January. This year is already starting off with a bang. Wow. 2023 is the 7th year. If you add 2 plus 2 plus 3, that equals 7. 7 is a lucky number, as many people know. A lot of growth and possibilities are abound. And so, with that being said, last month was really successful. It was like a boost of energy that we all needed, that I needed especially. Wherever you're at, I don't know if you felt that boost, but New Year's typically do that as well. They give us a boost of energy, but this year just feels like different. I don't know. So for this week, starting off this week, still within the last few days of January, it was like I got ramped up to just think about all of these goals and ideas that I wanted to follow through with, and how I could finally let go of fear. There was just some hidden fear back there, and maybe it wasn't even hidden. I knew it was there. I just didn't know how to step above it, to overlook it, or how to get out of my own way, basically. And I'm finally allowing myself to get out of my own way and just allow my higher self to take the reins, take the lead, and push me towards what it is that I actually know that I want in my heart. And so I worked on my website. I completely redid it. It was one way, and I changed the look of it. I removed some things that just weren't aligning with how I felt. Every time I'd go back to parts of my site, I'd always feel I don't like, why did I put this here, or this just doesn't feel, it's not flowing all the way that I wanted it to flow. So if you've been listening to me for the last few episodes, you know that I have a website. It's a blog site, and now I've added on a link to the podcast so people can find me there too. But as far as the blogs go, I was able to write a new blog, so there's a new post on there if you care to read it. I feel like it's very heartfelt, and it's just talking about having a pet and why you should get a pet, and how they fill your life with love, and just all of the good feelings. I have a cat, and so yeah, he definitely fills my life. Ooh, another thing that happened this week was I finally allowed myself to get a fish. I got out of the way. There's these limiting beliefs and things that happen in the background of us. I don't know if you experience this, but in the background, I can just hear something saying, you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that. Some months ago, when my son first moved back here from Georgia, he gave me a 20-gallon fish tank that he had. He was like, I'm not using it, Mom. It's just there. You can take it. And I was like, yeah, I love all animals. And so I took the fish tank. Same day, I wanted to go and get a fish. So he drove me over to the PetSmart, and we looked at fish, and he and I both decided that it would be a good idea to just wait, to set up the tank first. And I was glad that he said that, because By the time I got back home, I only had enough time to wash the tank out and get started with my regular job. So it would not have been fair for me to bring a fish in and not even have the water set up and everything, because the water needs to sit for a while and become conditioned. Like, you have to put products in there for it to remove the chlorine and to be safe for fish. So I waited. I think the next day or maybe the day after, I went ahead and put the water in and got the tank all set up and put the rocks in. I bought rocks that day when I was with him, and he gave me some decorations, and I got that all set up, and it was pretty. He gave me a really nice light that turns into like a fluorescent light or just a white light, and you can dim it. It's really, really nice. I've never had a light like that. And so I got it all set up, plugged it in with the filter, all of it, the whole works. And I put 2 plants in there. I was like, I'm just gonna put my ivy in there, like the pothos, the money plant that just grows and grows and grows. I was like, I'll just put that in there just so there's some kind of life in there, and it's not like I'm just like having a tank just for the aesthetics, even though in all honesty, that's what I was doing at that moment. I would look at that tank week after week, and I think, getting a fish will be so much work. I'm gonna have to like clean it out. Who's got time for all that? Mind you, it's just me and my cat here. I don't have my kids are all grown. I don't have a lot of things going on. And when my kids were young, I had fish, birds, hamsters, guinea pigs, dogs, and cats all at the same time. And I was the main person taking care of them. Plus, I had a full-time job and I was married. I have no idea why I think nowadays that I don't have the energy to do some of the things that I actually want to do. So every time I would look at the tank in my room, I would just think, it's just so much work to have to clean it. And if you get a fish, it's going to poop and you're going to have to clean it. And it's going to be a job to take the water out and this and that. And I did that for a couple of months. And finally, after this here January that we just came out of, I started volunteering at Moody Gardens here in Galveston. And I would go every once in a while, but every time I went, it brought me so much joy. Looking at the fish and the seals and the penguins and just looking at all of the animals and the birds and being in the rainforest and all of it just brought me so much joy and lit me up so much. And I was just like, I would talk to this one lady and I'd tell her, man, I'd really love to have a fish whenever I'd be by the starfish area. I'd tell her I really want to have a fish. But, it's just a lot of work. And she'd agree with me. She'd say, yeah, I used to have a lot of fish too. And, everyone is our reflection. So as she's telling me this, I'm just thinking to myself, she's an older lady. She lives all by herself. She has 0 pets. And she says that it's hard too. So I'm just like, yeah, it's hard. Just reinforcing the idea that it's hard. Even though being there with all of those animals, someone's caring for them. And the job that I have when I'm there volunteering is to care for the animals. It made no sense, to me why I didn't have a fish or any other pets for that matter. So my kids came over this past weekend and they were here and something just like tripped inside of me. The next day, they didn't stay the night or anything, but the next day I woke up with this drive to go get a fish. I said, you're gonna go get a fish today. And I was inside, I felt like a little kid. I was just like, really? I get to finally have a fish? I'm finally allowing myself to have a fish. And I got dressed and got in the car, drove over to the pet store and looked at the tanks with a lot of fish in there. And I kept hearing that voice inside, like, I don't know which ones to get. Oh, this is hard. I wish someone could help me decide. And I just went back over towards the betas. And the betas were, they're always individually in a bowl by themselves. And one of the betas just looked at me and just started swimming so fast. He just looked so happy to see me, and I looked so happy to see him. And all I could think of was lion energy. You're embracing your north node right now, and your north node, Marva, I'm talking to myself, is in Leo. And this fish is reminding you of a lion. Do what it is that makes you happy, and don't hold yourself back. So I got that fish. One of the attendants there, he helped me out, and he gave me some pointers on how to take care of the beta. It's pretty easy, pretty basic. I got the right food, and I got to bring him home, and I made sure that I added more water to the tank and more product to get rid of the chlorine from the new water that was introduced. And then I put the beta's bowl inside of the tank and allowed it to sit there. I went on YouTube, of course, and found a video. Allowed it to sit in there for a little while. It said 15 to 20 minutes so that the temperature of the water could match what was in the bowl. The fish could get used to the temperature of the water in the tank. I also have a heater for the tank as well, so I set that up too, just to make sure. I found this old thermometer, and I was for some months I was this thermometer doesn't work. I try to use it on myself, and it wouldn't move. But I put it under hot water finally for the first time. I didn't even think about that months ago. And I saw the little red line going up. I was it does work. So I used that to check the temperature of the tank, and I realized it was too cold in there. So I put the heater up. My son gave me a bunch of things. It was really helpful. I put the heater in there, and finally I introduced the beta in there, and he's just so happy. I've had him now since Monday. He swims around. I feed him 2 times a day. I looked on YouTube also and learned that you can teach a beta tricks. So I taught him, I didn't teach him yet, but I'm teaching him how to come to me when it's time to eat. And today he actually came to the top when it was time for me to feed him. So it's pretty fun. It's pretty exciting. Like I said, there's a lot of new things happening right now. From me getting a new friend, this new fish. Oh, by the way, I named him North because I am in my North Node. I am embracing my North Node and learning the other side of myself. I've been in my South Node for so many years, and now it's time for me to get back to my North Node and learn that side of myself and allow myself to really just expand and grow. So I don't know, it's just a lot going on, but I wanted to just let you know, if you're out there and experiencing all of these shifts and changes in this new month, we're in February now. If you experience changes in January, allow those changes. Give yourself compassion and ease as you're going through all of these changes. Don't put too much pressure on yourself, and just allow yourself to continue to grow. So I will leave it here. Make sure to check me out on my website, marvelousmarvadesigns.com, or you can read my blogs. I even have a link on there to journals that I have created. So it'll link you over to Amazon, where you can look at those journals and purchase if you so choose to. I will be back next week with a new podcast. I want to hold myself accountable and stop delaying my progress. And I want to continue to do things that light me up. And this is something that lights me up. I've talked already for almost 15 minutes and I didn't even realize the time had gone by. So with that being said, I will leave it here. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a wonderful morning, day, night, and stay blessed. I love you.